Hey, good morning, good afternoon to everyone joining us early. We will start 1 minute after the hour. Just got notice the last session is running a little over. So we're going to give it a little bit more time for folks to jump on. Sounds like the last session is closing up in 1 minute, so we will start 3 minutes after. Thanks for those who are hopping on right now. Thanks to those who hopped on. We are waiting for the last session to close up. I'm getting confirmation that it is ending now. Give it another minute or two before we get going. Looks like people are starting to roll in. Appreciate the patience from the folks who came on time. This is actually the first overlapping we've had in all of Discover so far. Good takeaway. We'll create better breaks in between. So it looks like people are starting to roll in now. I'll give it a few more minutes, probably 10:05. I'm on the Pacific Coast. Thanks for joining up. Now it's jumping. Okay. Looks like everyone's rolling in right now. We'll give it 1 more minute for folks who are finding the link. It looks like the last session just ended. I'm really excited to get this one going. All right. I got the green light to start now. I appreciate the patience for the folks who jumped on early. I know there was a session right before this, but we'll get going. I'm really, really excited to talk about today's topic and have a discussion around balancing online and offline sales. I am Michael with Deliver. And before I get started, I just want to reiterate that there's $100,000 in prizes, and we gave out several thousand yesterday alone. So attend the most sessions, post on your social media channel, and just overall continue to attend as we kind of give out more prizes today. I am really, really excited to discuss today about balancing online and offline sales. I think this is one of the most look forward to sessions of all of Discover. And I'm joined right now by Lauren from TB12, Tom Brady's brand, the GOAT, and also Noah from Ani Energy. You may have seen Josh Richards, the influencer on TikTok, promote this a lot. And so I'll give it to them to give a quick overview of themselves and their company. Flip it to you, Lauren.
Yeah, hi, thank you. Excited to be here today. So I'm Lauren Blanda, VP of Products and Marketing at TB12. And for those of you who aren't familiar, TB12 is a health and wellness company founded by Tom Brady and his body coach, Alex Guerrero. And it really encompasses one-on-one holistic coaching supported by performance and recovery products and amplified through digital content. So our purpose is ultimately to empower anyone to live pain-free and perform their best. And we're doing that through pliability work in the services side of our business, as well as recovery products and content.
Great. Thank you for joining us. And then I also have Noah.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, no, I think you're on mute. All right. Can you hear me now?
Hi, everybody. I'm Noah. Yeah. Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
Can you hear me? All right. Perfect.
Yep.
I kind of oversee the operational side of our business. Ani Energy is a kind of new to market energy drink with only 75 milligrams of caffeine and 30 calories per can and 6 grams of sugar. So we created the product as a kind of low sugar alternative to coffee for folks who don't want to ingest hundreds of milligrams of caffeine, like a lot of the kind of standard gas station energy drinks.
Great. I think we're having some audio difficulties on Noah's end, but I think he gave a quick overview of Ani. I'm going to flip it over to Lauren right now to get going with some of the questions right now. And I think a lot of folks in the audience are either already have a brick and mortar physical presence, some aspire to have that. Last year you guys expanded at TB12 into like brick and mortar stores like Whole Foods. Why was that part of the strategy, and what other kind of strategies are you guys looking at when you're thinking about expanding to a physical location?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for us, it was all about strategic expansion. And our physical products encompasses a lot of nutritional products. So protein, supplementation, electrolytes, protein bars, things of that nature. So considering that is more of a recurring purchase, you're purchasing protein bars once a month, or you're filling your tub of protein once a month, every 30 days. We really wanted to focus on expanding that side of our business. So when we look at where our consumer is shopping, Whole Foods Market was one of the first ones that we identified as like a must-have. Like, we got to get in there. They are a best-in-class retailer. Simply put, the TB12 brand is a premium brand, and we want to partner with premium retail. So they felt like a natural first step into, dipping our toes into wholesale.
Got it. And you guys have like a really unique kind of physical presence and how you guys decide to operate. Like, what are like 2 to 3 things you specifically like about the offline channel versus, just strictly selling online?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, what I love most is convenience and also trial. You can shop at Whole Foods, for example, and get a single packet of our protein. So instead of spending, let's say $50 on a whole tub of protein, you don't know if you're actually going to like it or not. You can go in and get, spend $3 or $4 on a single serving and have that opportunity for trial. I think the exposure from that standpoint, it's a very low cost point of entry. Or maybe you're enticed by a merchandising display as you're shopping for something else. Like there's just a different sort of experience in offline sales that you just won't ever really capture when you're shopping online.
Got it. Thanks for that. And I think Noah, it sounds like had technical difficulties, but also it may be available on audio. Noah, can you hear us? Can you speak? Oh, I guess not. You there, Noah? Okay. So, I guess kind of to flip it, well, I guess when Noah comes back, he can speak. But, when you guys think about kind of post-COVID, right, I think there's been a huge push to go online. And I think you guys are deciding to go, also, expand online. I'm sure that's still a priority, but also like, how are you guys thinking about like the services rebounding specifically post-COVID? Because I think you guys do some unique stuff too, right? With regards to not just being physically in stores, but kind of promoting the brand in a way that, I think during the pandemic wasn't quite possible or maybe was rather limiting. Can you kind of expand a little bit on that?
Yeah. So, one of the most unique parts of our business is the services side of our business. So, our performance and recovery centers. So this is where our body coaches see clients one-on-one in person. So of course, when the pandemic hit, that, really suffered the most because like many places, we were forced to shut down. And then probably, the 12 to 18 months following the shutdowns, people were very slow to come back. I'm happy to say that our business is pretty close to rebounding to even better than where we were pre-COVID levels. So we're feeling pretty good, pretty excited about that. But, it definitely forced us, like many businesses, to just be really reactionary and nimble in that moment. So I think for us, it was great to be able to have the online presence with our products because it really helped offset what we weren't making up from the services side of our business in our physical locations. And so, we were lucky to kind of have that working for us in that moment.
So I think for a lot of folks on the call, being physically present to promote your product in a sense, comes with like, how do you track whether that's effective? How are you guys thinking about tracking that as it goes to online sales, right? Like, do you see any kind of increase by physically being in either a store or one of your, centers to like online traffic? Are you kind of tracking that, or what are some of the ways you guys think about that?
Yeah, there's a few different things. I think in our physical centers, we have a very high, the clients coming in, they have an appointment, so they're coming in with intent. But our body coaches do a great job of, suggested selling, if you will, but really making it a personalized experience. So when our clients are walking out, they're often picking up products that are going to help them, achieve their goals and continue the work at home. So we see a pretty high conversion rate for product purchases in our centers. Right now, we're just limited on our center locations. We only have 3. We are looking to expand that pretty aggressively in the coming years. But right now, it's pretty targeted to New England and now Florida.
Got it. Cool. And I think Noah, now let's try the audio. I think he was on mute. Can you hear me, Noah?
Sure thing. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you guys hear me?
You.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
sorry.
Great. So no worries. I know Noah will be off video, so we at least get the audio of him, but we'll put up this lovely slide for him. Noah, you guys recently expanded to several hundred Walmart locations. Like how do you think about like prioritization when you're thinking about like expanding, and I guess just in general, when to kind of say yes or when to say no?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So I'd say the first thing we think about, is specific to the category, right? Because obviously every category is different, especially for in-store. And so for, energy drinks, grocery actually isn't a huge sort of point of sell-through. It's obviously just sort of important for the evolution of the company to perform well. But for energy drinks specifically, kind of the holy grail is C-store. People stopping for gas and walking to the gas station and grabbing a can for the road or before work or what have you. So I'd say number one is just general volume and sell through for the category. That's probably the first part of prioritization for us. Beyond that, I'd say sort of setting up repeatable experiments involving both the kind of types of core customers that we focus on and that we see performing well online. We try to target retail that those customers frequent, and so obviously college students and younger people are a kind of important kind of core customer to us. They overlap enormously with kind of our focal points of our marketing with Bryce and Josh. And so our Walmart expansion specifically focused on university towns, up and down the East Coast. And so the kind of we thought the best first experiment in grocery for us would involve an overlap of that core customer, in sort of call it urban environments that are found to the retail points of sale in them look similar no matter where they're found in the country. So we are starting there, and assuming that goes well, we'll kind of look for replicable types of situations on the West Coast and further south.
Got it. To figure out your core customer, where they're basically buying. But I guess then how would you say the difference is by region? At least, is there any difference in region between like, hey, certain regions tend to go more online for it, certain regions tend to go more at a retail location?
It certainly, one would think that would be the case. Geographically speaking, I mean, we're early into kind of our retail rollout at this point. But the number one kind of pattern, I guess, that we've noticed is it's just all down to where that core consumer is and spends their time right off the bat. So college students, younger people, we generally will find retail locations in places where there are high concentrations of those customers. That's where we do the best. And
got it. Oh, no, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I interrupted you. Go for it.
No, I think that's kind of all there's to say as far as where we're looking to expand retail wise.
Got it. And then I guess this could go for either of you guys. Like, a lot of times we think online is purchasing online, offline is purchasing in a physical store. But like, what types of online marketing have you seen drive in store sales? Utilizing almost that online presence, but not necessarily to purchase online. I guess, Noah, I don't know if you have any insight to start there.
Sure. Yeah. So our marketing, that is aimed specifically at driving in-store sales, initially has revolved around kind of meet and greets that we've sent Bryce and Josh to. So they'll actually, kind of announce that they're going to visit a Walmart supercenter in, some of the, those college towns that I mentioned. And what we'll do in the days leading up to kind of those visits, is generally just a large number of like Instagram, Facebook, geo-fenced ads to kind of build awareness. And with those ads specifically, what we're trying to do is almost take advantage of kind of the natural experiment that arises in having the visit, because there's an explosion of kind of organic, just exposure and talk of the brand when that happens. And so what we've tried to do there is really hone in on what the delta is when we invest in geo-targeted marketing leading up to an event and when we don't. And then specifically we're able to kind of run it kind of interesting A/B tests around the types of ads that we'll run leading up to that. So we have our core customer profiles, and specifically kind of tie those two traits about the product that we find drive a purchase decision. And so in the days leading up to like a visit, we will do a lot of say we'll compare marketing around specifically caffeine content, to say just lifestyle centric marketing that emphasizes sort of more the product as kind of like a companion to interesting experience, to sort of like Red Bull style lifestyle marketing, if you will, and compare that to kind of marketing targeted at product features. And then when we're in store, we get very detailed data about who actually shows up, and are able to kind of tie in which of those types of advertising actually drove people to say go into the store and grab a case, or that kind of thing.
Got it. And I think Lauren, you guys probably do similar stuff with regards to in-store presence to kind of drive it up. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for us, we've done, geo-targeted ads, and, of course, pre-COVID, one thing we saw success with pretty tremendously was just like in-store sampling, and really being able to give, that opportunity to trial to prospective customers. That was one of, by far, the most successful things that we did there. Another thing that we've done is try to personalize some of our online content to try to build engagement with prospective customers. So, for example, on Instagram, using our body coaches to do like a Ask Me Anything, where people are posting questions, we're answering them sort of live, and then using that as sort of a gateway to open up a conversation with a body coach to come in one of our centers. Like, let us show how we can help your particular situation. And having that as sort of like a point of entry.
Got it. And for in-store samples, can you elaborate? Is it like a pop-up thing? Is it in your actual center? I mean, obviously in your centers is probably easy to get samples, but outside of there, where else are you guys how do you think about that?
Yeah, we've done them at our own center. So if we're launching a new product, a new flavor of electrolytes, or just want to have people sample our protein powder, mixing it up, making little single servings, and getting out there and just engaging with consumers. I think, back to the question of what do you miss about, or what do you like about offline sales? I think that consumer engagement is definitely a big one, because you can get some of that feedback firsthand. Whether it's taste, or how they're using it, what they like about it, or what they don't like about it. Whole Foods was another great, not to keep plugging them by any means, but they've just been our initial partner on the wholesale side. But we would do little pop-ups in some of their bigger locations. Obviously, the more they're more flagship type of locations. And get, customers trialing. And that, for me, coming out of one of those trials, we actually made a slight formula change, because I got so much feedback on the spot about some of the taste and flavor profile, that we're I think we need to react to this. So it's not just about making the sale, but also getting that real-time feedback too.
Great, that feedback loop. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say most of the audience probably doesn't have either the top TikTok star or the GOAT promoting, their brand. And so, they're probably thinking, hey, what's your one tip for me if I have a product that, would do well in a physical location, CPG, health and wellness? What tip do you have for that person who's listening to that today?
I can go ahead and jump in. I think I would say the advantage, or the interesting thing about retail, is that you basically bring forward a lot of sales in your working capital cycle. So if you think about what a retailer cares about, I think there's, depending on if for us, right, what it is driving foot traffic. So energy drinks aren't particularly high margin for the retailer themselves. but there's an understanding that a lot of it's one of those products that people will go into the store to grab and then end up buying other things. And so for us, everything we've done to market to retailers has been geared towards proving that we drive in-store trips. So I guess to boil down what I'm saying, as far as advice goes, it would just be to understand why a retailer cares about your category, why they, what it is about your product that they're looking for, and then doing everything you can to build, a case study backed by data, that you can speak to and ideally demonstrate, that kind of proves your thesis, proves why they should care about you and want to put you in. And it's possible to do that kind of thing, with the right preparation, even on a really small scale. And I say, once you prove it once, the whole thing can snowball if you get hard.
Got it. Lauren, any tips for that person
Yeah, well,
out there?
Believe it or not, just even with Tom Brady's name on our brand, it doesn't open every door. But I think for us, or even just for anyone out there, I would say, obviously you got to hustle. And I think especially if you're selling a product or trying to sell a product that people really need to try and experience, I think you really need to get people trying it and experiencing it and falling in love with it. And those people are going to be, your sort of army to continue to promote the brand. And I think, one unique thing about having Tom is that, at times he can be such he's so aspirational, the GOAT, as you say. But he, for some people that can also be unattainable. So we're also trying to look at both ends of the spectrum and get that, sort of real person, approach to remove some of the elitism that might come with having Tom on our, at the helm.
That's a great point. I actually kind of flips me to a question I was thinking about, and I'll start with Noah, and feel free to chime in, Laura, if you have anything. But at the beginning, I think I talked about how do you think about your strategy for expansion? And I think for most people on the call, you're thinking I won't, if I get an opportunity to expand, I'll expand. But I think one thing that's not always talked about is when to say no. And so Noah, when do you think about when to say no to a brick and mortar expansion? How do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say so. Folks in the audience might know this depending on who they are, but most of the time when you sell to a retailer, you have to go through one of their regional distributors, meaning there's sort of two parties to please, both the person controlling the shelf space, but also the person, with the warehouse and the trucks, and the incentives are a little different, and kind of what each party expects is also a little different. And so I'd say the number one is to just understand kind of what you're getting into when you do say yes. There are a lot of stakeholders that you need to be dealt with, and so you want to understand kind of what that full picture looks like, and then beyond that, I'd say there's definitely there are definitely things to pay attention to on the kind of quality assurance and chargeback side. A lot of retailers are able to, when dealing with new brands, I think, use their leverage to they can be very aggressive and penalizing you if your say product isn't palletized correctly, if you don't have the X, Y, or Z kind of regulatory pieces in place, even down to the state or even the local level at times. And so that's also important to maybe understand potential downside, or understand, if say, you deliver product and then it turns out they want to charge you back for half of it because, maybe they overordered or something, can you handle the logistical costs associated with kind of, walking back from something like that? And then beyond that, I think there are also, competitive components that need to be kept in mind, right? Because, you pick a major category, they're the buyers, they obviously pay attention to, what one another are doing. And, if you're going to go all in with a particular partner, for a period of time, or with sort of a maybe unspoken exclusive or something along those lines, similarly, It's just important to understand when you have leverage in the process and when to use it.
Got it. And I guess so to Lauren as the last question, it's kind of the same thing. Like, I don't know if how do you guys think about when to say no with regards to kind of like your offline presence?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it needs to be the right brand market fit. And, as we, want to continue to position ourselves as a premium brand, it has to, whoever we're, going into their footprint, like it has to be the right fit. So we would start there. And then to Noah's point, like you got to read the fine print in the agreements, because obviously, when you're not selling direct, there's a different margin at play. And sometimes once you get through all the chargebacks, all the stocking fees, all that stuff, your margins start to dwindle, and you need to really look at like, is based on the size of that purchase order, the size of that opportunity, is it really worth the investment? And kind of weighing kind of both the brand fit as well as the financials.
Yeah.
Got it.
Precisely.
All right. I think you said persistence, I believe.
Precisely. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, I know we are up on time. We won't get to all the questions that I see here asked, but I do want to thank both Lauren and Noah for joining us for this quick session. And I'm sure I speak for the whole audience and the thousands of registrants that we thank you for your time and sharing your thoughts. So thanks so much. As a reminder to yeah, absolutely. And as a reminder for everyone else, continue to attend the next couple sessions and win the most prizes. Thanks so much.
Bye.